Hey all. It is Erin, Two Martini Stitcher, and I am back for kind of a little extra. It's not cross stitch, but knitting. I had a few people say that they would absolutely love to see some knitting, so I am going to do kind of a 2022 finish and WIP parade. It will be much shorter than cross stitch because knitting is kind of my she's my side piece hobby. But I have been really into the knitting lately and have been making a little bit of time like every day for some knitting. So the progress isn't going to be as much as there is on cross stitching, but I thought it'd be fun to get kind of a baseline for the beginning of the year for 2023 and show you what I did last year and my WIPs, of which there are much fewer. And although more than I thought when I started pulling them out, just by a couple. And yeah, so let's just dive right in. As I'm a pretty beginner knitter, I think I started knitting in 2020, just like a tiny little bit. Like I thought I was going to make like one cowl. And then I really enjoyed it. So I've been buying yarn and starting projects here and there, and I have a few finished things that I wear quite a bit, and you'll see I also cast on my first sweater this year, so that's still a WIP. But I wanted to show you what I finished. So first, let's do finishes. At the very beginning of last year, I finished this Land of Sweets cowl. This was a Valentine's Day mini skein set from the Lemonade Shop in 2021 that I had bought, and I got it, and I think I started this like March of 2021 and then set it aside for other projects, and then I got this back out at the beginning of January last year. There's definitely mistakes in it, but it's not bad. It's not bad. Yeah, there's definitely mistakes in some of the lace sections, but I don't think you can tell. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with this one. Land of Sweets cowl. It's great for little odds and ends by Curious Handmade. I know a lot of people have made this cowl, and this is really fun. I'll probably actually start wearing this here now in January. I like to wear it January, February, March when I need a little pop of bright. Another cowl I finished this past year was the this is called the Rhinebeck cowl, and I had purchased this mini skein set in 2021 from, I'm pretty sure I bought it in 2021. It was a little mini skein set from Leo and Roxy, and then the pattern came with it. So because I'm a newer knitter, I like to do projects that have me learning and trying a new technique. And I am pretty much all YouTube taught. You can learn to knit off of YouTube. There's so many tutorials. Anything you need to know how to do, you just look it up. This cowl was kind of a choose your own adventure. So each section, this was the section one, it gave you like two options. So everybody's cowls will look a little bit different. And it was written for 5 sections, but it was a 6 skein mini set. And so there were plenty of, because you had 2 options for each one, I just picked another one. This is my first time doing baubles, which were really fun. I don't know that my baubles look the best, but the lace work came out pretty good, and there's some seed stitch, some slip stitch, really fun. And I've been wearing this quite a bit this fall. So I think I finished this in September or October. And then I've knit a few gifts. The first one was I bought a mini, like an advent set in 2020. I can't remember which dyer I bought them from. And they were little 10-gram minis. And I did them in a rainbow order. I like rearranged them into like a rainbow order, and I knit a habitation throw. The pattern is by Curious Handmade as well. I made a habitation throw for my daughter Sarah, and I gifted it to her when she moved into our apartment on campus this fall. But I do have a picture of it, so I will put that in here. So that's the habitation throw that I did. I mean, it really was like a tiny little lap blanket because they were only 10-gram mini skeins. And I used all 24, 25 of them. I can't remember if they were 24 or 25. And so I knit that up, and she loves it. She loves it. It's if I could find a picture of it on her chair, then you saw it on her chair in our apartment, but I'm not sure I have one. So you might have seen a picture of it on the blocking mats. So I made that for her. And then for Christmas this year, I made an item for each of my other daughters. My youngest had been asking me to make socks. I made a pair of, like my very first pair of socks, I made in 2021. And they went pretty well, and I wear them. I made them for my foot, and then my youngest really wanted a pair of socks and picked out a pattern and some yarn, and I started them, and I learned that even though I did that first pair, it was fun to learn, and I hate knitting socks. I just don't like it. And she kept asking me, where are my socks? Where are my socks? Where are my socks? And part of it is that I have really big hands. I scan over an octave on the piano. And so those tiny little circumference itty bitty needles, they're hard for my hands. They're not comfortable. So I thought, well, maybe what I would knit her instead was a pair of like bulky weight sleep socks. So I did. So they're not the socks that she wanted, but she was so thrilled that I knit her a pair of socks. So these are, I think it was a free pattern if you look up bulky sleep sock. And so it's super bulky yarn. It's either bulky weight or super bulky. I think it might be super bulky weight yarn. And I picked out these colors. This was just some like, I think it's part bamboo yarn that I think will wash and wear really well. And these were she loves sock monkeys. So I thought these were good sock monkey colors. And they knit up really, really pretty quick. These knit up pretty quick, and I had to go grab them out of her drawers because she does love them and wear them a lot. She does have kind of big feet. I have huge feet, but hers are like a 9.5. So this might have been a Very Pink Knits pattern, because I think that she had like little tutorial videos to go with it. So check out Very Pink Knits. I think this might be her pattern for bulky sleep socks. And then for Abby in New York, it's really cold in New York and windy walking around campus. And so last year she would take this scarf and kind of like wrap it all around her head. So I made her a hooded scarf. So that's what this is in like Fordham Ram colors. So see, it's all in one. So it's a hood with a scarf attached to it. She's very excited because this is how she bundles up and walks around campus. This was also a free pattern that I found on Ravelry. I think it's called Easy Hooded Scarf. I will say I did use the, what's the name of the yarn? Woolies Thick and Quick. I tried some other yarns. That was the called for, and it really was the best and easiest. You knit the hood flat, and then you knit the scarf, and then you seamed the hood up the back and attached the scarf to it. The pattern said it would take 2 skeins, and that was a big fat lie. I used a full 3. I mean, I guess it could have been just shorter, but I wanted it to be able to wrap all the way around. So, yeah. And I think Sarah's kind of jealous because she really likes this. She put it on. She's like, oh my gosh, it's almost like a weighted hood scarf. But I think that'll keep her nice and warm walking around campus. So those are my finishes this year. I didn't have a ton of finishes. I did put the knitting down, I think, in the spring, and then didn't pick it back up again until fall. I kind of fell out of knitting for a little while, but when I picked it back up, I love it. I'm now like fast and furious knitting. So I'm gonna do my WIPs from the oldest to the newest, and yeah, and we'll see what we see. So my oldest WIP, and seriously, I just need to like sit down and finish this, is by Martina Bem's Strickmich. It's one of the hitchhiker scarves. It's this lentilla shawl, and I started this with Annie Joyfield Stitcher. I'm using this colorway. It's actually called Seattle. It was the first, I think this was the first yarn I bought from Treehouse Knits. It was a Seattle colorway. And it's lovely. Like, you do these little short rows to do the ruffles. And I don't know why I don't pick this up and knit on it more. I tend to take this with me to travel because it's just one skein and it's easy. But I would totally wear this. So this is where I am on it. So this is how much I have done. And I feel like I must be getting close to doing the decrease. But there's my lentilla shawl with all the little pretty ruffles along the edge. There's pretty, and then when you block it, you can kind of get them to, you know, ruffle even more. But it's really pretty. I love this colorway. It's like a white with little flecks, all kinds of flecks of blue and green. I don't know how the light is. I got my ring light on because it's been very gray here. Isn't that pretty? And it's just garter stitch, so there's no purling. You just knit back and forth, and then these ruffles are done with little wrap and turn short rows. Really fun. I should get back to that and finish it. But I got distracted. What else is new? What else is new? I got distracted. So I think my next oldest is this one. And this is the, let me see, do I have a picture of it? It's just a long wrap. It's a long wrap. And this, I swear, this is getting really close to being done. But it's such a springy summer color way that I don't want to work on it in the winter. This is the Lady Whistle Down wrap. And the pattern came with a mystery box from Fangirl Fibers that was all Bridgerton themed. So you can see I have a lot of this done. It's a mammoth wrap though. But so you start here. There was a main skein. That's this one. This pink and white. And then there were all these other colors of mini skeins. So you started with this section, and then and then there was another section of the main skein, and then a whole bunch more minis, and now I've done the second section of the main skein, and I think, where am I? I'm on, it was a 12-day, I'm really close. So it was a 12, you opened up 12, and I'm on day 11. So I think, I'll have to look. I think I maybe only have one more color or two more colors. I think I only have two more colors and then the end section. So I'm really close on this, and I'll probably get this out again. I'll probably get this out again in the spring. But I could totally see wearing this with like a plain like black or gray dress, because there is some like black flecks in it. But that is the Lady Whistle Down wrap. That was a really fun box to open. Girl Fibers does some fantastic yarns. She did a yarn box that was Friends themed, that I think was meant to be like opened the 12 days of Christmas like after Christmas because it came in the middle of December. So I think you were supposed to open it like after Christmas into the new year. But I saved it and I'm opening it on my birthday. So you'll see more Fangirl Fibers yarn in March because I'm going to open that Friends box for my birthday because I had another yarn advent I was opening, but I really like her yarn too. So that is the Lady Whistledown wrap. And then earlier this year, Helen Stewart of Curious Handmade released a mystery knit along, and I get kind of nervous sometimes about mystery knit alongs, and I don't have anything. I think is this all I have as a second clue? It's been finished now, and I kept up for it for a while. It was called the Miss May MCal, and it was the inspiration for her design was from May Morris, who was William Morris's daughter. And you probably know William Morris because he was like a textile designer. So I think his most famous, well-known print is The Strawberry Thief. But May Morris was his daughter, and she worked with him and did a lot of hand embroidery. Like, she was big in the arts and crafts movement, and really advocated for like paying craftspeople for their time and for things that were handmade. And so it was a knitting mystery knit along based on like a famous embroidery artist. How could I not? And I had you needed 4 skeins of fingering weight yarn. It's going to be a big project. And this must have been released in like June. I think she started this in June. And so I pulled ones that I thought reminded me of some of those like Strawberry Thief colors. And I had this yarn from Treehouse Knits that I had just bought because it was pretty. And it's a bit of a mess. I'm going to try to get it put back together here. And I'll show you the 4 skeins that I'm using. And I kept up through Clue 2. Did I finish Clue 2? It looks like I did. And then I went out of town. That goes with that one. And then I went out of town in July and I put this down and didn't pick it back up. But here is my colorway. So this is Skyfall by Treehouse Knits. Stunning. This is, oh, I can't remember all the names. Oh, I bet I have, hold on. I bet I have not that you'd probably be able to get these colors now anyway. Let's see. So it's Skyfall, Lagoon. This is Lagoon. Rusted Berries, and Morning Fog. And they are just gorgeous together. So pretty. So this mystery knit along is done. You can buy the Miss May shawl, and I'll show you how much I have done of it. It's a oval. I think it's like it's an oval, a half oval. But here's what I have so far. So it's really like, this was like a little leaf. It was kind of on, her inspiration was like a lot of the leaves and vines in May Morris's embroidery work. So we started with the Skyfall. And then, so it's going to end up being like all kind of stripy. This would also be absolutely gorgeous in one color too. So I think I'm through Clue 2. But I put this down and didn't pick it back up again this fall. I should. I'm still attached. I'll have to look and see if I'm all the way through Clue 2. I think I was, and then I think I put it down and didn't keep up anymore. You know, as these, just like a mystery stitch along, a mystery knit along, kind of goes the same way. Once you fall behind, then it kind of gets abandoned. Okay, and then this fall, I decided that I wanted to try my hand at a sweater. So the sweater that I am doing, I decided that a bulky weight sweater would be the best choice because it would knit up a little more quickly, especially in my size. Let's face it, my size in a fingering weight sweater would be, it would take me forever. So this is the Compass Sweater by Perfectly Knotted. Sorry, it's a black and white picture, so it's not the greatest, but there it is, the Compass Sweater. It's a pretty simple top-down raglan, but then it's got these like raised lines, like the points of a compass, and it's got a little split hem, and the bottom is, the back is longer than the front, but you can do it cropped and you can do it not in a split hem. And I am using Knit Picks. I can't remember the type of yarn. It's maybe not Stroll, that's their fingering. It's Knit Picks in this, I think it's called Avocado Heathered. And I got a ton done on this, and then I had to like pause because I decided I wanted to make Christmas presents, and now I need to get back to it. So this is getting picked up imminently, actually probably today, but this is how far I am. So I knit the body and split the sleeves. And then I decided that I wanted to at least do one sleeve, which I know normally people leave the sleeves last, but I wanted to know how much yarn it took because then I could just do the body until I ran out of yarn, really. So I have one sleeve in, so you can see the little like raised line down the sleeve. So I have one sleeve done, and I did them kind of like wrist length because I tend to like, especially a lot of times I pull my sleeves up a little bit, so I did them that length. So you can see it's, it comes down to like there. And so I did one sleeve, and then I started working on the body some more, and then I think I'm going to put the other sleeve in when I feel ready to pick up that sleeve again, because I think I did an okay job for my first time. I'll show you my underarm. But I think I did okay, but I'd have to watch video again on how to do it. But I picked up the stitches on the sleeve. That looks pretty good, right? There's a little bit of a hole there, but I think I can close it when I weave in ends. So this is it, and it is big and squishy, and I want to wear it. So I need to finish it, but it does go pretty quick, even in my size, because it's just, you know, go around and around and around. So that is my sweater, the Compass Sweater. And I'll have to put like progress markers on them now, since I'm going to be showing. I think I will just show knitting progress in my regular like little progress vlogs. So I'm really proud of this. I wish that I knit faster sometimes so that I could just knit lots and lots of garments, but that would require me to probably put down cross stitch a little bit more, and I don't want to. Knitting's still the side piece for the moment. Okay, so I started that I think in October, end of September, beginning of October, and then I bought, and it arrived from Treehouse Knits. You're gonna hear a lot of Treehouse Knits. Lauren did a Beetlejuice countdown box in October for like the second half of October, and it came with a pattern from Claire at Perfectly Knotted called the Countdown Wrap, Countdown Shawl. And when it came, I couldn't resist casting it on. Much like kitting up other things, I kind of just want to cast on, and then I'll have it. So I cast it on, and I worked on this for a little while, and I'll show you where I'm at on it. So this is the countdown wrap with the Beetlejuice countdown box from Lauren at Treehouse Knits. And it is just so good. This was like a mystery box. And there are very few people I would buy a mystery box besides Lauren. Her, and you think, well, that doesn't look very Beetlejuice. You should see her inspiration photos. Like this is like the faded wallpaper in the house. It's just amazing. So there was one main skein. This is the main skein. Look how amazing that is. And then there were mini skeins. And so it alternates and has just like this, just like clever little like stair step, like, so it looks like different columns, and they're just working together beautifully. So I finished color 3. So I finished color 3. That's 1, 2, 3, and I think there are 12. And I can't remember. I think this one's next, and then this one, and then I'll show you the rest of them because they kind of came in pairs, but they blend beautifully from one to the other. So then there's these and this and these. Oh, look how good they are. So amazing. So amazing. And then and then this is the final, which I think I may not use. Although I like it, it's that orange is not really my color, and I think it'll be plenty long without it. So I may leave that mini to use for something else. But so this is my countdown shawl. I think it's called Countdown Shawl by Perfectly Knotted with the Beetlejuice yarns. It's just gonna be long, a little nice little wrap. So I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm gonna like alternate, especially these like mini skein projects where I can do like a color and then go back to working on sweater for a while for like a skein of the sweater, and then come back, because I do have one other mini skein project that I started at the end of the year. I did get another yarn advent this year from the Fiber Fox. It is the most beautiful fade of yarn. I'm gonna pull them all out, but I'm not gonna be able. Did I take a picture of them all in order? I don't know. Oh, I'm sure there's one on her Instagram, the Fiber Fox. And I decided to do the anthology throw from Curious Handmade. It's black and white, so, but you can see it's like it's a huge circle. So this was my first time doing, kind of cast on, was it? An invisible, circular. It's an invisible circular cast on. It took me like 3 tries, but I got it. Here are just some of the amazing colors. Look at these. Oh. And they fade beautifully from one to the next. It goes from like greens to teals to blues to violets to grays. It's amazing. And it's going to be just a huge blanket, wonderful blanket. So I'll show you my start, because I cast it on and I did one color. She does mark in the pattern where she switches each of her minis, but I decided, because you could totally stash bust this, but I decided that I was just going to use the entire 20. These are 20 gram mini skeins. I decided I was going to use the entire 20 gram mini skein and just knit until it was gone. So I went over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rounds, but it's okay. Mine will just be bigger. And here is, so this was the first color. So there is the center of my anthology throw. There we go, one color. And if I do 2 colors a month, then this will be done in December. So that's my plan. 2 colors a month on this throw, and then it'll be done in December. And so I'm going to work some on the sweater, and then I'll come back and, you know, do a color on this, work some on the sweater, maybe do a color on the Beetlejuice one. So we'll see. I am a little more sweet with my knitting than I am with my cross stitch. So, but look how pretty that is. And this is nice because it's just knit, and then there'll be like rows where you do these yarn overs for interest, or like the double yarn over for like the bigger holes. And it's going to be really fun to see the colors shift from one to the other in this. So that is my Advent box from Fiber Fox for this year. So I'm trying to, and then I have a couple other projects kind of kitted. Like I have the yarn and pattern matched up, but I'm not going to start anything until I finish something. So this is it. That's actually almost more. So that's how many? 2, 4, that's 6 knitting WIPs, which is like probably 2 more than I really want. But I think that Bridgerton throw will finish up this spring, no problem. And yeah, so no casting anything on until I finish something. But that's it. I hope that was fun. I hope anybody who knits as well enjoyed seeing that. And I am always open to suggestions on knitting because I feel like I'm not quite a beginner, but I'm like beginner intermediate. We'll see how the sweater comes out. I love the idea of projects though that are wearable and usable. So hopefully the sweater goes well because there are a lot of other sweaters I would love to knit. So thanks for stopping by to see my knitting, and I'll be back with some. I've already been recording some little vlog style clips of cross stitch progress, and I'll probably be putting those up every 2 weeks. I'm not a prolific enough vlogger to do weekly, so it'll probably be every 10 days, 2 weeks, but I'll throw some knitting in there too. Thanks for coming and hanging out, and hope everyone's having a good week. I'll see you soon. Bye.